So I'm out here, first time doing a live. I tried to do a couple of tests before, but I think I screwed up the settings somehow. I don't know. Never done this before. But I want to get in there because there's certain things that need to be sort of said. You know, one of the things that I want to address is like I've been on my channel, Paranormal Conduct, and I haven't been like doing any type of research in a while. And the reason why I haven't been doing it is because there's been some, you get things, all right? Things, you get hitchhikers, let's just call them that. You get hitchhikers that hop onto you, cling on to your energy or whatever, and then they end up in your personal place, in your home. And it's a little off-putting to understand you're sort of looking for this, but then you can't turn it off. Like you just can't turn it off when you want to turn it off. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. And then you have people that sort of create. They turn their living room or their basement or their attic, I don't know, their shed, into a hotspot, into a magnet for these types of energies. That's what I think the afterlife is. And not just the afterlife. I mean, we could only see a certain amount of matter, right? What is it, like 85-90% of it or something like this? And that's our everyday, what we see. But what about the rest of it? In the rest of it, that's where, in my opinion, there comes a lot of different dimensions. So you'd have to be in these certain dimensions to be able to recognize things. But that doesn't mean that things in different directions, because since we're only able to, again, perceive everything, about 10 to 15% of matter, the rest of that 85-90% of matter that we cannot see, there's got to be ways that we can understand it. And there are, one of these ways is obviously through antennas and frequencies, like radio frequencies. There's a reason why those spirit boxes were kind of common. And any type of thing that transmits, our phones, walkie-talkies, all these things, they go into a different invisible spectrum. And that's another thing of matter that we can't see. We know it's there, but we can't see certain spectrums of light, and we can't hear certain decibels, right? Once it reaches a certain level, boom, you can't hear it anymore. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but we're just not capable of seeing that. I mean, imagine if you could see the full spectrum of light, you'd be blind. You couldn't see anything. You'd have to be a different type of being, a different type of entity, or you'd have to be a part of that energy. I feel that what does flow into the different dimensions and different parts of energy and different this and that are vibrations. Light is a vibration, right? Sound is a vibration. We cannot, generally speaking, emit natural light, like we have bioluminescence, right? But we have a voice with vocal cords that creates vibrations that make sound. These sounds penetrate. They penetrate the air around you. They penetrate the space around you, put it like this. And whatever we cannot see within that space is still being, in a sense, you're still connecting to it. That's why I feel when people start calling out to certain things, because we can't call them spirits or ghosts or this or whatever. I don't want to assume labels, even though I think I've done that in my videos. But I've learned as I've, matured in this field, um, and I've done my research, that that's not really how it works. Uh, I mean, it doesn't mean that's not what it is. It doesn't mean that it's not going to work. And I mean, anything is possible. Who am I to say it's not? You know, you need teams of highly educated people doing constant experiments to prove it, to create a theory, right? So I'm just one person here. Uh, but this is interesting to go on live here, and I'm gonna do this a little bit more often to see if I could start building up some feedback from people, because I'd like to answer some questions. Um, I could be honest. I've gotten ill from doing these investigations, if you want to call it that. This type of research. Let's just say I can't call it like an investigation, because I wasn't investigating anything. I was going out asking questions. It was more of a research thing than anything else, like trying to do an interview, right? And investigations or interviews, but not in that sense, right? So I learned that something responds. There's a definite response. Something will respond to you. And what it is, I don't know. It could be anything. But if we think about just how certain principles are in this world, like polarity, vibration, how we think, and how we create and invent certain things around us. Once you, if you're using this and you have an understanding of what I'm talking about, there's a definite way of being able to accept the fact with confidence that there's another reality, several realities. Uh, but as above, so below, right? These realities are just like the people you encounter in the street, in my opinion. You could meet good people, and you can meet bad people, and then you could also meet these things I like to call roamers. Roamers are, I hate to say this, but a person that's out there looking to do harm, right? They're out there, as a wolf looking for prey. They're roaming about. It could be an addict, trying to score a fix. It could be somebody just having to pay a bill. You never know what a reason is that somebody would be doing these things. But the same way that you understand that when you do research in the paranormal field, you have to understand is that when you do research in the paranormal field, you're going to come across this type of stuff, and and you're gonna experience some wild stuff if you allow it to. And I don't know, what are you guys experiences uh doing paranormal stuff or anything freaky or anything just unexplainable ever? Have you ever come across something like this? Because I really want to get back out and do some research. I haven't done it in a while, and I feel that it's about time to get back in there. Any advice on, you know, other YouTube channels? Just somebody that you feel would be worth it. Um, Again, I was speaking before about Huff Paranormal and how this guy gets a lot of negative, just negative, and when you look at the person's channel that's posting all this negative stuff about just this. Now this guy picked out a random kind of doing all this stuff, but there was a time when I would follow a lot of different YouTube channels, and I would try to what once I shouldn't. Yo, look. What about if you go, you know, see the restroom and you wipe and there's nothing there? Would that still be ghost poop? There was nothing in this hole. Oh yeah, that's it. That's what you asked. Yeah, you have to bring out a little recorder and start asking it questions. You know, that's interesting. But anyway, what I was saying was the person that would be uh saying so many horrible things about these YouTuber people, right, is the same person that would be using this guy's equipment, or his style of equipment. He had like that ghost box, right, like that portal thing. Then somebody else would copy the design and then call it something else, like a dark box or a tunnel or a gateway device or this or that. You know what I mean? Um, so it's weird. It's like they're still in their ideas, then they're making fun of them, and I think it's more about jealousy than anything else. You know what I mean? Like um, I don't know. I I just know that when I've gone out and I've done this little research myself, I've encountered things like I mentioned before called hitchhikers, and it wasn't good. It was kind of freaky. But I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back to this. Why? It's because I am a kid. What do you think? I'm a old man. I'm dressed like a kid. Yeah, I am dressed like a kid. You know. Yeah. Um. I don't know where you live at. You know what I mean? But that's kind of how it is out here. You know, you gotta blend in. You don't blend in, you're gonna stand out. You stand out, that's a big problem. You know what I mean? Um. But that's an interesting observation, and I appreciate that actually. Uh, but I'm talking about like paranormal investigations. You know, about like these types of crazy things that happen. Uh, yeah, no, I'm a grown man, homie. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a child, and uh, just because I put my hat backwards doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? I got a T-shirt on, and you know, it's okay. I mean, actually, I feel that I'll take that as a compliment. You know, like you don't phase me, man. But I really wanted to understand, like, if anybody out here had any type of serious paranormal just experiences that they wanted to share, some maybe in a chat here, and and see if what they felt was genuine, right? Genuine, at least to them, even if nobody else believes, which is okay. But would it be genuine? What could have been something paranormal that happened to you that is genuine, like something genuine? Uh oh fuck, man, Afghan. I feel really bad about all of this crap that's going on, in that side of the world, and I really don't. That's why I try to stay away from that type of stuff. The pot of, because it's all politics. It's all like so sad. How a group of people could go and just try to invade, just like they did here, and in most countries, with this colonialism type crap, and just say it's okay, feel like it's okay. It's not okay, It's it's not okay. It creates like an environment for, it just spreads hate, you know. It spreads hate, and hate is a very horrible way to be, you know, just constantly being hateful and stuff. Um, Hello from Russia. No, that's my point. The hate is there. It's part of human nature, right? So you can't stop it. Like, yeah, I know. It's not friendly out here. It's not friendly, you know. And this is what I mean. You're if you're constantly surrounded by just negative people, negativity, just a negative environment. I mean, even the buildings, even the gates, everything looks sad. Everything looks like run down. Like everything is just sad. Everything it makes you. It puts you into this kind of. Every Afghan vet has a ghost story. I don't know many Afghan vets. Well, what do you understand about colonialism, and how would that allow any type of form of ignorance that would come from me? I'm interested in that. You know, if you'd like to debate, you came to the right place. Even though this started as a paranormal chat, you know, but you don't know what I do for. You don't know what my day job is. I'm gonna keep my day job. This is just something interesting because I wasn't on YouTube for a while, and I was really looking for people to share paranormal experiences. But I don't know about your 5 challenges, guy. Um, what do I associate with the West? Colonialism is not just part of the West, the Western world. Colonialism is global. Right, okay. Nah, I don't care about your 5 challenges at the moment. I'm sorry about that. I don't have the time. But I will be back on here again, seeing if people are interested. I'll be back on here again. So yeah, definitely. I can't pronounce that name. I'm sorry. But yeah, come back. I'll definitely I'll definitely I'm interested in what you challenge. accepting it. It's got to be something interesting. Ooh, okay. Well, Islam has, the Sunnites and the Shiites, right? They have two different groups, right? And then they have offshoots of these different groups, right? Like type of stuff, right? Now I understand that they're militant. That, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything, but they're claiming it as part of their religion. They're claiming it, and they're attempting to say it's okay because of that. They reintroduced Sharia law, right? So Sharia law is very ancient and is very brutal, you know. But so is executing a person. You know what I mean? Executing a person is very, very personal. It's very messed up, and people constantly. Uh, you know what? I believe in an eye for an eye. I do. I believe in that. I believe in that. So I gotta be careful what I say here as well, because I feel that if you kill someone, you deserve it right back. But I don't feel that a person should sit on death row for 30 or 40 years. That's cruel and unusual punishment towards that person, the offender, and the victim's family. All right, it should happen more rapidly. 845 Sanda. 845. Oh shit. I know 845. It's been a long time since I've been out there, but 845, word up. Uh, right, it's an ideology, but it's more of like a it's based off of the Quran. It's based off their beliefs. It's based off of teachings found in that are corrupted through the ideology. The same reason why you have like 1,000 different sects, SECTS, let's make it clear, of Christianity. And it's not just one, right? The same reason why we have Protestants and they broke away from the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, not the original Catholic Church. All right, there's a distinction. But yes, 100%, it's an ideology that spreads through the same way people recruit people in the street to become gang members. They provide a sense of family and structure and possible money, especially if you're in an environment where, it's very poor because people have been taking over everything, or there's nothing there, right? Like Central America, places like this, they have no choice really but to, you're either gonna join us or you're gonna run over. You know what I mean? Like there's no in between. You're Shiite, okay. All right. I was raised Christian, I'm still Christian, 100%, I just have a different understanding than the mainstream Christianity would accept. Nothing bad or anything like this. It's just I see things different. And the reason I say this is because I studied religion for a long time. I went to seminary covering the tattoos. I had to put an arm sleeve on, wear a button-up shirt, you know, and sit there and listen to these people lecture about stuff that's related to the Bible, but it's not actually from the Bible. And then there's too many different versions. That shows that the corruption is very there. It's there. There's corruption in the Bible and in all these different versions. The best version of the Bible, really, and I'm talking about like 7 years of study, because you're right, I am a grown man. I would say it's the Orthodox Bible. It's more unique to the primary principles. But yeah, you know. Oh, Dr. Ben Johnson. Dr. Ben Johnson. What's up, bro? What's up, bro? My man Bouncy still there? Dr. Ben Johnson. What's up, man? Uh yeah, so that's one of the biggest problems that we have is that the the people that are calling the shots, right? They're making sure that they're calling the shots in a way that they remain in control, and that really can mean um, rewriting history so that they could stay and maintain that control over people, because that's what it's about, right? Apparently, uh, I mean, just think about the people that had power and how they separated, right? And how different religions started. They started because people in power wanted more power, right? Here's an example: King Henry VIII, right? Yes, people. Yes, yes, agreed, 100%, 100%. They ruined it for their own gain, for their own profit, right? Um, they corrupted it. That's it. They've omitted books in there that really speaks about how to attain this oneness with God and with the earth around you, which will instill this peace and this love and this harmony. And they reinvented their own version of it that says that you're supposed to only love the church and give your money to the church and unite with people that are within the church. Yeah, Council of Trent was a horrible thing. That was one of the they organized that. They're the ones who threw the books out, right? Uh, After that, you had the Inquisition, and they started just killing every. And now this is the Roman Catholic Church. There's a distinction between the um, the Roman Catholics and the Catholic Church, the original Catholic Church. Uh, People notice the greed and the horribleness throughout history. Martin Luther uh, wrote his work after witnessing like the Pope and all these people, alcoholics, womanizers, child abusers, all this according to the doc to towards her, because you're not gonna directly say something bad about the church. You got to say it sort of like in a friendly way. You know, you got to say it in a friendly way. Back then, so it was more of like they were kissing the church butt, the Roman Catholic Church's butt, because if they didn't, they'd get killed, right? But yeah, wow, it's incredible how this chat went from paranormal stuff to religion. But I guess that's how the world works. But yeah. Oh, okay. I gotta run. All right, Persian version. Very, very cool. Very cool name, actually. Persian version. Word up. um. Ah, man. I see. Now I'm interested. Yeah. All right. So Solomon. So we're using labels here, Christian labels. I know that Muslims, Hindus, all these different religions use that label as well. But what is a demon? Like, a demon could be anger, it could be sorrow, it could be lust, right? It doesn't have to be this horny, right? Beast, you know. It's an archetype, right? It's something that's within our collective subconscious, like Jung said, right? Carl Jung. Our collective unconscious creates these archetypes, and since we don't have the capabilities of understanding certain things, we label them. So I don't know if Solomon raised demons in that extent. However, what is written about Solomon was that he was a very wise person, and how he became so wise is up for debate. You know. Okay, the jinn. That's where it came from. The myth of genies came from jinn. You know what? He probably, but again, you see, people there's a there's all right. So a sorcerer is a person that gives himself to the evil archetype that we label as the devil, Satan, Lucifer, whatever. Even though these are all different attributes of one archetype, right? Uh that's what the sorcerer does. And apparently the magician, the devil gives himself to the magician. So Solomon, I feel, was more of a magician than a sorcerer. Because according to what I've read about him, he was the one that was in control, right? And he was able to sort of control demons and gain from them instead of him giving his soul, which is what a sorcerer would do. Jews do know it. It's in the Kabbalah, right? It's in their oral tradition, not just the Kabbalah, but it's in their oral tradition of the Torah, right? I forgot the Talmud, I think it's called. It's there. It's yes, it's written there, and there's ways to sort of decipher it because it's a code. It's a coded message. You never throw pearls before swine because swine will trample them, right? Jesus said that in the New Testament. So this is the same reason why a lot of writings, or there aren't a lot of writings. Put it like that. There's oral traditions that are just passed from person to person that are deemed to be worth it. If they're not worth it, then obviously they're not going to receive it, because they also have to know how to understand the coding within it, because there's obviously going to be a code. The truth is, God is within us, right? And it's easy to see when you see someone like the Pope, and how apparently he's so holy and he creates these miracles. See, here in the West, we kind of see this as something that's kind of taboo. But if you think about Eastern philosophy, in India and Asia, it's common to see holy men. It's common to see holy people, because they understand that God is from within. It's an inward thing to create the external thing, right? The macro and the microcosm. So out here in the West, they hid that. They corrupted us. They took that away from the people. And this is the reason why we get caught up in their tangled web, and we argue and we fight and promote violence and we promote hate. You don't see that in a lot of places. I mean, nowadays you do, right? It's hard for me to say that. I've traveled a lot. I've met a lot of different people, and there's always one common ground. You know, hate. Hate, and I've seen hate more than love. And it's it's sad. It's sad, but Persian version, man. I hope that you subscribe. You got some really cool things there that's on your mind that you're throwing out, and I hope that I was able to vibe with you. You know what I mean? Well, and I will be back on here again. I don't know. Maybe I should change the name from Paranormal Conduct to something else, but I like Paranormal Conduct. This whole friggin' religion is paranormal conduct. All right, man. Yo, take care. Be easy. Yo, and I'll speak to y'all soon. I gotta get my ass to work.